Hi everybody, this is Joseph again, the owner of the Diasporan. And today I'm inviting everybody who is watching, all those who are new, I'm requesting and very humbly asking you that you may subscribe to my channel, and that if you like my videos, you may give me a thumbs up. You may make any comment, ask any question on my web, and in my next video, I'll answer all your questions. But also you can give comments, and you can make any statement, or and I'll appreciate for that. And for those who are regular viewers on my website, on my channel, I welcome you again. Thank you. I hope you're gonna enjoy the video today. And today the presentation, we are talking about F1 visa or student visa. This is the student class visa in the United States. And the F1 visa is a student visa that is given to international students who want to attend educational institutions in the United States. It covers levels from elementary school to university and graduate school, including other degrees. If one of these institutions accepts you, then you apply for the F1 visa. So the F1 visa application eligibility criteria. To get the F1 visa or student visa, you must meet some specific conditions, such as you have to get an admission offer from a Student Exchange Visitor Program, SEVP or SEVP. And this program has a list of schools, universities, and other institutions which meet the conditions and accept international students. To qualify to even apply for an F1 visa, a student must first apply and get an admission offer from SEVP accepted to a school. It is recommended that before applying to your preferred schools or universities, you should first check with the SEVP and see if those institutions are listed there. If yes, you can proceed to send them any documents that they require to make admission decision. If not, you should not apply, since you will not get the student visa even if you are accepted into the school. So you have to check for the approval from the institution of your admission. You need to have strong ties to your home country for the F1 visa. If you don't prove and submit documents that you have strong ties to your home country and intend to go home after your education program ends, it will be more difficult to get an F1 or student visa. So note that carefully. For a student visa, the main intention to get this visa, the U.S. government, you have to assure the U.S. government that once you complete your study, your academic studies in the United States, you are about to return home. That's why the U.S. government needs proof of strong ties, like title deeds. If you have a permanent job, probably, maybe you have a business back home, or you have anything that's gonna make you go back to your country of origin. Then there is a proof. You have to prove financial eligibility. You should prove that you have sufficient funds in your bank accounts to cover the expenses of studying and living in the United States. This does not mean that F1 students are not eligible for scholarships. In fact, you are encouraged to apply for scholarship funds and organizations to lower your financial burden. In fact, if you are covered with financial aid, that's the best option, because once you are approved with the scholarships, all your expenses are the government foot or the institution of your admission, they foot all your expenses while you are doing your studies in that institution. So if you are, I would encourage for those who are doing this application, before you do application, make sure you try to get an opportunity to apply for financial aid or scholarship. So another thing you have to be proficient in English before you are admitted into that, because and we all know that United States is an English native country. It's an English speaking country. So to be admitted in any institution in the United States, you must be proficient in English. You have to have a good command of the English language. You must prove that you can speak and understand English at a level that enable you to enroll in an academic program. Students can prove their language proficiency by taking standardized English proficiency tests, such as the TOEFL or the IELTS. The F1 visa requirements. Here are the documents required to apply for F1 visa requirement. The F1 visa. You must have a valid passport. Then you must have a form DS-160 for non-immigrant visa applications. Then you have to accompany that with 2 photographs meeting the U.S. visa photo requirements. Normally it's 2 by 2 inches. That's the basic dimensions of the passport needed. And then you have to have a proof of paid F1 visa fee. Most of the institution, before you are granted permission even to get a visa, most of the institution, if you have to pay up front, most of them you have to pay up front, and you have to show like a receipt, something, the proof of payment that you have already paid, probably 1 semester or whatever the college require or demand for you before you get admission. Then there is a Form I-20. Your Form I-20 states the amount of funds you need to finance your education and living in the U.S. You must submit documents which prove you have that amount readily available. This can be done by submitting various documents, such as bank statements for the last 3 years. That's financial proof. It shows that your financial stability, that you're gonna foot for your tuition in the United States. Then you have to show tax records for the last 3 years. Then you need pay stubs of previous employment. If you have received a scholarship, you also need to submit proof of it. Paying a semester's or a year's worth of tuition is also a good idea, but it's not mandatory or it's not a must. If you are supported or sponsored by someone else in the U.S., you will need to submit Form I-134, affidavit of support, and bank statements for the last 3 years of that person. So we're talking about if you have a family member or just a friend or anybody who is going to sponsor you to the United States. So you need those documents which have been mentioned. If you are funding your U.S. education through a loan, you must also show proof of the approved loan. That's very important. Then there are documents that prove your previous education and current qualifications. Very important, academic proof you need to show your academic qualification proof. And that this is done through original transcripts of your, probably if you graduate from high school, you need to show your high school transcripts. If you have done any college level or academic pursuit, you have to show the transcripts or diploma or any kind of academic portfolio. Then you need to do a standardized test scores, TOEFL, IELTS, GRE is mostly for the graduate students, and then and GRE and GMAT, those normally for those who are pursuing the graduate level. And then you need acceptance letter from the education institution which accepted you. There must be an invitation letter or acceptance letter that you have been approved, that you have been accepted into that institution, academic institution. So you have to show that. Then there must be a previous degree, diplomas. So you have to show that, you still need to show your academic, to show some proof that you have, that you have some diplomas, or if you did a kind of a bachelor degree or master degree, if you are going for a post bachelor, you have to show all those documentation. Those are the proofs. So, and this is what I always say, that you have to organize all your documents in a good, well-presented file. So whenever you go to the United States Embassy, so you don't get mixed up. You have to be really prepared before you turn up to the consulate's office. Then you need a proof of purchased health insurance for international students. They need to see a proof of your medical, they need a medical proof. Mostly, they are very, very sensitive for that when it comes to medical situation. Then there is a process how to apply for an F1 visa for those who want to get the information. To apply for the F1 visa, you must go through the following steps. Number one, you have to get your admissions documents from the SEVP institution. That's the College of Admission, where you have been admitted and accepted. Then number two, you have to apply online through the DS-160 form. Most of the stuff you have to do online. And the good thing is, whenever you do everything online, you're gonna be getting updates, either through the mail or through your email or through the mailed correspondence from the institution or from the U.S. government institution. And then you expect to pay the application fee. Yeah, most of the school applications, you have to pay for a fee for this application. Most of them, they are not free, depending with the institution which have accepted you. Then you need to pay the service I-901 fee. I think it's almost a standard amount, but it depends with the colleges, the College of Admission. Then you need to schedule your F1 visa interview in the embassy. You have to make, most of these days you have to make an interview, or, before, when it's, like I think early in 90s, you need just to show up in the embassy and line up. So it used to be the first come, first base. But no more. You have to make an appointment. I think you have to make through online appointment, or either you have to make a phone call to the embassy and make an appointment for your visa interview. Then number 6, you have to submit the file with the F1 visa required documents. Finally, number 7, you have to attend the student visa interview. That's the final day. That's the D-Day for your visa interview that you have to go. And when you get to the embassy or the consulate office, either, it's not a guarantee for approval for your visa. So your visa will be granted or will be denied, depending with, how you present yourself, or depending, probably you don't have some documents, or even you fail the interview, or there is not a guarantee for these visas. And you can't tell. You might have all the documents, but you fail the interview. You might fail the interview, or you might have missed some of the documents, but you pass the interview. Depending with normally it depends with also the personality who is directly interviewing you for the day, for the visa interview day or appointment. So it's either you might be lucky to get the visa, or sometimes unlucky that you might not get. But it's always good to try these things, because you don't know. You might be you might not be. You might be thinking you won't get the visa, but just happen when you show up there. You just, so many people have been surprised to get a visa, and they never expect it. So I always say it's worth to try. You are shot for that. Then you have to get your admission documents for the SEVP institutions. After you apply and are accepted into the school you want to attend, they will have to complete some procedures so that you can apply for the F1 visa. The most important document you need to have is Form I-20. This is the big number one document you have to have, because it means that you have been accepted. This is the acceptance letter for the college you are going to attend. Then there is certificate of eligibility for non-immigrant student status. Without this form, you will not be able to apply for an F1 student visa and attend your interview. So Form I-20, this is the acceptance letter, academic acceptance letter, that you have been accepted by an academic institute in the United States, and you just need to. So with the right documentation and you passing, getting through your interview, then you are subject to get your visa if everything goes well. And most of the time, when with your presentation and having all the documents organized well, most of the chances is you have high chance to get a visa, especially student visa. But you have to be organized, and you have to be very punctual. They don't like people who are not punctual. You have to be punctual, especially with time, and be very well organized with your documentation. So you have to apply online through the DS-160 form. After you get your Form I-20, what we have just said is the acceptance letter from an academic institute. You can start the usual application process. This includes filing the DS-160 form online with the necessary information about your visa status. Then you have to pay the application fee. The application fee for the student visa is $160. I don't know, it's subject to change. Probably, I don't know when this was recorded about. But it may vary. I don't know how much is it now, but it's that neighborhood of $160. And you must pay this fee and get the receipt, which you need later for your interview documents as a proof that you have paid for this application fee. You might have to pay additional fee based on your country of origin and the U.S. embassy you are applying from. So it depends with the different countries. So I don't think it's a standard amount, depending if you come from a third world or African or Asia, Europe. I think the payment is a little different. It's not a uniform payment across the board. So you have to be prepared with all those stuff. When you are admitted by the SEVP, your school immediately register you in the Student Exchange Visitor Information System, which is called SEVIS. To have full registration, there is a SEVIS I-901 fee. For the F1 visa, this fee is $200. I think this, the amount, this is just a base value, but I think it varies to change. It varies. It's a subject to change, the fee. Then you have to schedule your F1 visa interview. After filing the DS-160 form and paying the fees, you will need to schedule your interview. The F1 visa interview is a mandatory step before you get your student visa. Try to schedule it as early as possible, since there might be delays due to the heavy workload of the U.S. Embassy. When you schedule it, you will receive an interview appointment letter, which you will need later on in the application process. Then you have to submit the file with the required documents. Before you go to attend your interview, you should prepare your file with the required documents for the U.S. student visa. So, and they always analyze which document you need. They are all listed down on the I-20. Most of those forms they always tell you, they guide you step to step, all the documents you need. Mostly they are in order of importance. So, they put them in order, how, step by step, how you're gonna do them before you get your visa, or you even get to your visa interview date. So they pretty much, they guide you step by step. So if you follow up well, I think you're gonna get your F1 visa or student visa. Then you don't need to miss the date about the student visa interview. That's the main thing. You've worked so hard to do your application and everything, but you can't afford to skip the visa interview, because that's when you go to the embassy or consulate office. That's where that's your visa issuing date. You don't want to miss that. When you go to attend the visa interview, the questions will mostly revolve around your reason for going to the U.S. So they normally ask, probably which course are you going to do in the United States. So how long you're going to stay there. They have those few questions, but kind of, if you're not very careful, they are tricky. But you have to be very prepared mentally. You have to be very sober when you go into the embassy, so that you are prepared to answer all these questions. They are not. They might be 5 or even 3 questions. Sometimes they don't even ask you why you're going to the United States. It might be 1 question, and that might make always a big difference. So when you are go to attend the visa interview, the questions will mostly revolve around your reason for going to the U.S. and the institution you are going to. The interviewer will try to assess whether you intend to return to your home country after you complete your degree. And that's why we mentioned about the social ties. If you prove with the social tie, if you present your social ties proof to the embassy, and they assess, and so those social ties, at least they prove to them, to the embassy, that when this person is finished with his education in the United States, he is bound to come back to his country, because he got those social ties. He's obliged with so many things which are tying him back to his country. So make sure those things, they are light and they are well organized, and you can present as many social ties documents as possible. That's why I always say, I don't think many is too many. So make sure you present those things, and don't skip them, because they are very important. You're going to show them that you're about to come back home after your education is over in the United States. And when your visa is approved, it might be for the full time that you will be in school in the U.S. or for less. If your degree program is 2 years and you only get the visa for 1 year, you should then later apply to renew it. Because this U.S. government is they are very, very sensitive with lapse. You can lapse, you are staying in the United States. If you lapse, they're going to deport you. So you have to make sure that, if you know very well your visa is expiring, your student visa is expiring, so before it expires, make sure you apply for a renewal before time. So you can't just wait till the visa have expired, and then you reapply, because you're going to be deported. They're going to send you back home. So if your visa is approved, you are allowed to depart for the U.S. 30 days before your program begins. You cannot enter the U.S. any earlier than that. So that's why I say it's very important. So if you need to renew, if you have to renew your F1 visa, you have to do it ahead of time, probably at least 3 months before expiry, because the process of renewal also take time. So you have to give yourself a room, enough room for the processing of the renewal of your F1 student visa. And so in most cases, you will get the response on this visa immediately after the interview. That's when you show up for the visa interview in the embassy. It's a same day thing. So they're gonna either let you know that you have been approved or denied the same day. At the end of the visa interview, the interviewer might congratulate you for getting the visa, or you provide you with a document letting you know the reason for denial. They are good with that. This is because the processing of this type of visa actually happens before your interview. The interview is the last step for the U.S. Embassy to assess whether they should issue the visa. There are, however, cases where the response and processing of the F1 visa takes a few days, so you should be patient if that happens. Those are very rare cases about that. But mostly, they normally process everything the same day of your interview. After you are admitted into the institution of your choice, you can apply for the visa 120 days before you are scheduled to start your program. You cannot apply an area, but applying later might cause you a delay due to processing time. So as soon as the 120-day countdown begins, make sure you submit your application. So this is talking about your timeline to apply for an I-20. I think it should be 120, which is 4 months. So 4 months before the program starts in the college of admission, in the college overseas. And what are you allowed to do with an F1 visa? As a student living in the United States, you will get access to the American healthcare system. However, the cost of getting treatment may be unbearable. It's very expensive for international students for medical access, unless you are a citizen or a resident of the United States. So I think I always say, it's good to keep yourself healthy. There are things you can't control, but if you can, just try to be as healthy as you can, the best you can. Because once you get sick, healthcare is very expensive in the United States. So to renew your visa, if your study programs take 1 year to graduate, the embassy will most likely give you a visa that is valid for 1 year. However, in some cases where the program is stronger, the embassy may issue a visa that is valid for less. In this case, there is the option to renew the F1 visa. There are 2 ways that this can be done. There are 2 ways that you can renew your visa: by going to the U.S. Embassy for renewal, or by using the automatic visa revalidation options. So this visa revalidation option, it allows people with expired U.S. non-immigrant visas to re-enter the U.S. so their visas become valid again. So that's the program called automatic visa revalidation. It's the automatic revalidation. This allows people with expired. It's a program that allows people with expired U.S. non-immigrant visas to re-enter the U.S. so their visas become valid again. Even if it was expired, and it happened, you went back home, you can come back to the United States, so your visa can be revalidated it can be made valid again so that you can continue with your education. So, and now as we continue to with this student visa, we are so we also have to extend the period of stay. You can extend the period of stay by renewing your visa. The validity of your F1 visa is for as long as it is stated on your I-20 form and I-94 form, which is given to you when you enter the U.S. After your visa expires, you have a 60-day grace period to prepare for your departure to your home country. If your visa doesn't cover the whole time that you've been in school in the U.S., you will have to apply for renewal or extensions. The extensions are approved only if you can prove you'll be completing your degree in the U.S. and you intend to return as soon as it is over. So as I said before, they don't give room for lapse. You can lapse your stay in the United States. If there is a lapse, you are subject for deportation. So make sure there are no lapses. So if you have to renew the F1 student visa, you have to renew it beforehand so that you give it time for processing and you have room. I mean, you don't want to risk with that, with the lapses. So if you, for example, find a job that requires a different type of visa other than an F1, then you are also eligible to change status. You can change F status to any other status, depending with, sometimes you may get a job offer from your college or under which degree you are doing. They can pick you for a job, or you may get an intern job. So your status may change, or you can apply for a change of status. If your school, after you graduate, sometimes the college may take you, may give you a job or offer, or any other company, like if you're doing something medical, an institution, outside the college might offer you a job, might give you a job offer. So you can work that job. You can do that job with your F1 student, with your student visa. So what's going to happen, you have to apply for change of status. So you have to change from F1 visa to a working visa, temporarily till you get you can get a work permit after that, and probably might get absorbed in the job market in the United States. But it have to be approved by the institute and by the United States government, or by the state you are living in. At some time, you are also eligible to apply for a green card. Even though you have proved that you have strong ties to your home country, if you want to apply for a green card, you are allowed to do so on an F1 visa. So it is a complicated procedure, though. You must either self-petition as a person with extraordinary abilities, get married in the U.S., or prove that you will invest $500,000 in the U.S. economy. If these are not visible for you, but you still want to remain in the U.S., the easiest way is to change status into a different type of visa, such as H-1B visa, and have your employer sponsor you. This H-1B visa is a work visa. So as I said before, you might get a job offer after you graduate, and you can work with a visa on a F1 visa. So you have to apply for change of status to a H-1B visa, which is a working visa, till then they can waiting while you're waiting to get your work permit. And if you have applied for the immigrant visa category or green card, you might be, this is a stepping stone to get, a permanent resident status in the United States. So you may work as an F1 student, but only for a short period of time, since your visa is a student and not work visa. So work visa is the only eligible visa to work, with no fear or permanently. But with an F1 student visa, F1 visa, you are not allowed. You can only work within the campus or with the approval of the institute or your college. So you can work with the F1 student visa. You need to know that. But you have to, apply for a change of status if you want to work, if you want to work permanent. Then there is curriculum practical training, which is CPT. This means that the education institute you are attending requires you to work as a part of the curriculum. And mostly these are the interns. You can work, in the same college, under the same professional or academic program you are pursuing. And with that's the program we call curriculum practical training. You have to complete the practical training in order to graduate. This training or practical work must be in your field of study, as we have said, and must be approved by your designated school official. So this is a temporary, it's normally part-time, and it's kind of like to give you more skills or experience, so that once you graduate, you're gonna get a taste of what you are doing. It's like mixing your academic thing, is pulling hands-on, is doing hands-on for whatever major academic you are pursuing. So let's say, for example, you are doing computer or IT programs. So before you finish your full course, probably in the last year, they normally give you the intern to go. You can intern outside the college with a company, dealing with the IT or company, computer programming company, intelligence technology, information technology company, and that's you gaining your skill. You go there to gain your skill and to give you a hands-on experience before you graduate. So once you graduate, you are very familiar with what you're gonna, with the job market you are studying, or in which field you are studying. There are also optional practical training. The OPT program is designed for international students to get experience in the U.S. You can start your OPT before or after graduation, but the maximum amount you can work is 12 months. Your work must be related to your field of study. If you are in a STEM-related subject, you can file for an OPT extension of another 24 months. You can start your OPT if you and your designated school official file for an employment authorization document. This is done by filing Form I-765. If you are successful during your OPT, your employer could agree to sponsor you for H-1B visa or the work visa, from which you can also apply for a green card. Most of these institutes, they give you a pathway to apply for an immigrant visa or diversity visa or green card, if you will. So it depends with your improvement or your conduct too. If you are behaving so well, if you are doing so well with your program, it's like, you are very you are following the rules, you are doing as is, demanded, with no, with no messing up with your program or anything in the school. You are well behaved, you are following the rules. Most of the time, they're gonna give you they'll help you, to apply for this diversity visa program or green card. which is more easier than the one you do it back home, because this is almost guaranteed. It's almost a guaranteed green card. It's not by luck, but it depends with your manners and your academic improvement. How are you doing? Are you performing so well? Your performance and your behavior is a big factor when it comes to this approval for green card or a H1B visa. So if you are F1 visa or student visa who want to travel abroad, F1 visa student who wants to travel abroad, before you plan and book their travel, you must follow some instructions. The instructions are to ensure that they can enter the United States again. And also you can bring family members to the U.S. In case you have dependents such as spouse or unmarried children under 21 years old, they are allowed to come to the U.S. too. This can be done with a F2 visa. The F2 visa, as opposed to F1 visa, this is for the dependents of the F1 visa student. So if you have a spouse, if you are pursuing your education in the United States and you have a spouse or children, so they will be granted the F2 visa once they are approved. The F2 visa has no cap, and dependents should just fill the requirements and complete the application procedure to get a visa. To be eligible for an F2 visa, you must fulfill the following criteria. You have to be the spouse of an approved student visa holder. Number 2, you have to be an unmarried child at 21-year-old of an approved F1 visa, or you have to have the financial means to support the family during your stay in the U.S. So I hope if you are following, you got the concept of the F1 student visa. It's one of the most popular visa class or visa category in the United States, and but it have a long process. You have to get I-20, you have to get approval letter. It takes normally a long time to process, but when it's approved and everything, it's one of the, I always say it's number 2 most beneficial visa category, beside the green card or beside the immigrant visa category, which is a green card, because this number 2 with the F1 visa, you can work in the U.S. with approval. If you are approved by the institute where you are pursuing your academics, the government can also, with your performance in school, you can get a scholarship, and through this, you can work your way up and you can be approved for a green card, which you don't have to go and, apply for, but they can help you. The government can help you. The institute can help you to obtain this green card very easily. So thank you very much for watching this. It might be a very long video, but please follow up. If you're pursuing dreams to come to the United States through F1 student visa, please follow up and watch this video to the entirety, because these are the facts. And if you will follow up with all this information I just gave, and if you have a comment, you can comment. If you have a question, please, you can ask me on the page. And you have anything issue, if you have any issue, if you like my video, give me a thumbs up, like it. And please don't forget to subscribe for my channel. I need your help, my friends. Boost me with subscription. Subscription is free. It's free, my friend. Do it for me. Thank you so much. You have a good night. You have a good day. Thank you so much, my friend. God bless you. God bless.